This is the Bay Area's news station. KRON 4 News at 6 starts now.
Tonight at 6, the world has lost a beloved leader. Nelson Mandela, the former South African president, has died. The anti-apartheid leader was 95 years old. KRON 4's Grant Lotus has more on Mr. Mandela's life and reaction to his passing. Grant.
Pam, Nelson Mandela was a hero. He was an icon. Here now we'll look back at where Mandela's life began, his trying time in prison, and his courageous rise to revered peacemaker and world leader. A moment watched around the world as the president of South Africa delivered the sad news.
Our nation has lost its greatest son.
The announcement came just before midnight in South Africa, shortly after President Obama offered his condolences.
We've lost one of the most influential, courageous, and profoundly good human beings that any of us will share time with on this earth.
Nelson Mandela's life began in a tiny village in South Africa, a small corner of the country where he would make an extraordinary difference. Mandela joined the African National Congress at a time of white rule in his country. When the ANC formed an armed resistance to the apartheid system, he was charged with treason and sentenced to life in prison. For many years, he endured hard labor at one of South Africa's most remote and harshest prisons. In 1990, after 27 years in prison, he was freed at age 71.
The government has taken a firm decision to release Mr. Mandela unconditionally.
Within just a few years, apartheid ended. Mandela won the Nobel Peace Prize and was elected South Africa's first black president. And Mandela achieved another dream for his country in 2010 when South Africa hosted soccer's World Cup. And President Obama does plan to travel to South Africa to attend Mandela's memorial service. Pam.
Though Mr. Mandela was a leader a continent away, what he stood for had an impact in the Bay Area and all across the world. KRON 4 spoke to people in the East Bay today who shared their thoughts about the peacemaker and human rights leader.
I'm grateful that I was able to be a part of history, to see his experience, his legacy, and he taught us all that, you know, you can fight the cause, win without being angry at your adversary, and actually bring peace among, with the adversary.
The fact that his own life had so much turmoil in it, to be incarcerated for 27 years and to come out and to become president, that was unprecedented. And I'm sure that everyone around the world will be affected by the passing of this great man.
Well, he was a great man. He did a lot for South Africa, to turn the country around and eliminate apartheid.
Well, to the world, I think he was a sign of peace and humility, and the fact that one individual can make a difference.
More local reaction continues to pour in from around the Bay Area. We have a photograph to show you. This is of Nelson Mandela with former San Francisco Mayor Willie Brown. The two met back in 1990 when Mr. Mandela came to Oakland to speak. Brown shared it with us here at KRON 4, calling it a prized possession. And he remembered Nelson Mandela as a man with a powerful presence.
Mr. Mandela inspired me, as I suspect he has inspired many people, to do what you think is the right thing to do. Maybe not political, because I don't think Nelson Mandela was ever really political. He couldn't have been, the way in which he made the sacrifice that he made and the fortitude that he showed in all the time period that he spent incarcerated.
And we encourage you to join the conversation. Leave your condolences and memories of Nelson Mandela by visiting our Facebook page. You can also see video of Mr. Mandela's visit to the Bay Area from back in the 1990s and more on his life. It's all on our website, KRON4.com.